Now, I'm sure many of my viewers are aware of this, but Star Wars Celebration, the largest Star Wars convention, was held last month in Chicago. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend, but I knew that there was going to be a lot of Jabba-related exclusives and sort of convention swag and all sorts of other stuff like that available, so I took it upon myself to try and get as many of those as I could. And I'd like to introduce those to you in this video today. This first item here was actually something that was sent to me by the creator or the manufacturer. This is made by Regal Robot, who they do a lot of kind of very interesting sort of custom furniture and props and statues and things of that nature. This one here is obviously a gargoyle from Jabba's throne, but it's also a magnet. So you can just put it up on your refrigerator or whatever. It's really quite well made. They made all of this in their studio here in the US, which is nice. And it looks pretty convincingly like metal, I think, with the sort of bluish patina that you'd expect on this kind of metal. It's pretty cool. It's got a real metal ring on it. I think this was about 20 bucks at the show. It's not available at this point except on the secondary market, but I think I really like this. I have this sort of magnetized to the side of my desk in my office, so it makes me feel a little bit like Jabba. This is definitely one of the more unique items to come out of Star Wars Celebration this year. It is, of course, a Jabba the Hutt Chia Pet. I was really amazed when they announced this a little bit before the show, and I was still kind of amazed that it actually exists. Chia Pets, of course, are basically just pottery statues that you are meant to smear some wet chia seed paste onto, and then eventually they will sprout and make it look kind of like hair, or in this case, I guess it looks like they're maybe trying to represent the green parts of Jabba with the chia. It's kind of an interesting idea, to be sure. It's got on the box here a celebration exclusive. Well, actually it says convention exclusive, so they may actually be selling this maybe at some other conventions as well. You look at the sides, it sort of tells you what to do. You're supposed to soak the clay in water for half an hour and add the chia seeds to your Chia Pet clay, water it, and then watch it grow. Now, unfortunately, this was kind of expensive. It was like $45 at the show, and considerably more than that to get it second hand or in the secondary market. So I don't know if I want to actually try out the chia aspect of it, but I am going to be using it as sort of a statue. So let's take a look at that. It's actually really well done, and I love that it has Jabba and his entire throne here. We can see the bottom there. It's got some nice detail, to be sure, and it seems to be a unique sculpt for this product. They also have Salacious Crumb here on a little sort of wooden placard that you can stick there, which is an interesting choice. If you open up the box, you get a couple of these little packets of seeds that you can use if you so desire, but as I say, I think I'm just going to be keeping this as a statue. I've made a couple of videos in the past about the Star Wars Geeky Tikis, the Tiki-themed sort of ceramic mugs, and I was really excited, of course, to hear that they were making a Rancor version for the Star Wars Celebration exclusive. This one is quite large, and as you can see, it's actually a two-part thing here. We've got a small Jedi Luke that can sit in the Rancor's hand, and then you've got the giant Rancor here that, I don't know, that would hold quite a bit of liquid. It says 45 ounces here. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to actually use these to drink out of. They're more display pieces for me, but definitely very cool. If we look here on the box, just for a second, we can also see some of the things that are upcoming. They've got a Han and Carbonite, Princess Leia as Bausch, Gamorrean Guard, and well, another Jedi, full-size Jedi Luke, as well as a 2-pack of Han Solo and Greedo. I'm definitely going to be getting probably at least these three. Let's go ahead and compare this now to the original Jabba and Salacious Crumb set that came out a little while ago. I'm kind of interested to see how they look together. Here we have the two sets together. This Jabba and Salacious Crumb set was originally a 2017 Orlando Celebration exclusive, Celebration Orlando, but it was also a shared exclusive with ThinkGeek, so you were able to order that just on the ThinkGeek website and not pay exorbitant fees getting it on eBay or anything like that. Plus, it cost $24.99 retail for this set. This one is only a Celebration Chicago exclusive, and it retails for $60. And if you can imagine, only being able to get this at Celebration means that you have to go through the secondary market to get it if you didn't attend the show. So we're talking 60 plus another, say, 30 or 40% or something like that. This is very expensive compared to these two, which is really my only complaint about it. It's nicely done. It's, pretty big, even compared to the Jabba. So, I don't really have any complaints there, but man, this was not cheap to get a hold of, I'll tell you that. Itty Bitty Plushes has had quite a bit of success, at least if you judge by the number of characters that are available in Hallmark stores, which is kind of amazing. They're not all Star Wars, of course. They have a variety of pop culture characters, kind of in the same way that Funko has with their various lines. This one was only available at Star Wars Celebration 2019. We have a tag that says as much here, and on the bottom it even has Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 on it. So it's kind of a cool little souvenir of the show. These are actually not exclusives, these ones here, but I got them at the same time. The Gamorrean Guard figures were available, and still are, I believe, on Hallmark's website for retail if you want to get those. Definitely kind of cute little guys. I'm happy to be able to put them in my Jabba's Palace display. In fact, here let's bring out old Jabba. Now you may recall that Jabba and Leia, Slave Leia, were San Diego Comic-Con exclusives back in 2015 or so. They have a similar tag on them. Oh, it's 2016. There we are, Comic Convention exclusive. So I'm kind of glad that they're slowly but surely expanding the line of Jabba's Palace characters, and I should probably try and put these all into a display somehow at some point. I would say that Pez dispensers in general are one of the oldest collectibles out there. They've been making these for years and years, and they've actually made Star Wars ones for quite some time as well, but they've never made a Jabba Pez dispenser until now. This was a set, well, not really a set, you could buy them separately, but a set of 3 Jabba's Palace themed Pez dispensers that Funko made. Now, of course, Funko's making them means that they make them in their sort of pop figure style instead of a realistic style, which is a little bit too bad that we don't have just a regular Jabba to fit in with all the other Star Wars Pez that's been made, but still, beggars can't be choosers. These were, it says here, Galactic Convention exclusives, so they were available at Star Wars Celebration, but they were also available at GameStop. I guess at GameStop stores. I got these at the GameStop website, so I didn't have to pay through the nose to get these, thankfully. If we look on the back, it just has, nutrition information and whatnot. But it does come with a little packet of Pez. And, let's go ahead and open these up and get a little closer look at them. So here we have the actual Pez dispensers. And, these are pretty much like any other Pez dispenser. You have the head at the top that tilts back and reveals this little thing where you put your Pez candies, and it'll sort of just pop one off into your mouth. It's really kind of a weird product now that I think about it, but anyway, I think there's a good chance that Funko just sort of shrunk down the existing digital sculpts that they had made for the pop figures and used them for these, so kind of a low effort product on some level, but I'm glad that they exist. Maybe we'll try and actually put some of this candy in here. This is the actual candy that you get. It says assorted fruit candy, and we just sort of unwrap this. You want to keep it, if you're not familiar with Pez, it's just sort of a chalky, not fantastic tasting candy, but it's, I'm having some trouble getting this out. You just put them into the dispenser like this, in a line, hopefully. There we are. And then if you just, go like that, one of them will come out and you can eat it directly like that. Lots of fun. So, as I say, glad that these exist. I would kind of like to see a more realistic looking Jabba, but I'm fairly satisfied with this as it is. So I mentioned convention swag a little bit ago, and this would fall under that category. Of course, swag is basically stuff that companies or individuals give away at a convention or something like that. This is a sort of collection of various items that are themed after 1920s Chicago gangsters like Al Capone or something like that. And Jabba the Hutt, of course, being an intergalactic gangster, kind of fits. And with Chicago being the setting for this celebration, it seemed like a good match, I'm sure. This is a shot glass with the mug shots of all of the characters there. And then we have a patch that says Chicago 2019 with them on it there. Got 3 buttons with the same artwork on them. And we also have this poker chip that says, got an ooh on the front and says ooh la la on the back. I'm not actually sure who made this. It may have been I'm guessing it's kind of a Star Wars Collectors Club kind of thing. If somebody knows, please do let me know in the comments. I got these on eBay and didn't really have any additional information about them, but I thought they were really cool. Another kind of convention swag, I guess, would be these Star Tots. Now, I've had a number of these from past conventions, and basically what they are is little metal, I don't know if you'd call them figures or not, but they're basically little metal pieces in the shape of figures that are representing, a certain character, or in the past it's always just been action figures. They're recreating an action figure in its packaging. These particular ones here are ones that never actually existed as vintage action figures, but they've made them nevertheless, which I think is pretty cool. You can actually, if you look at the back, see all the ones that they made for this current round during Celebration 2019, but they've made quite a number of these in the past. If you want to, you can just open up the packaging here like this, and it's non-destructive, so you can just put it back. You got the card here. You've got the actual Star Tot, which is a thick piece of metal with engraving on the back showing who sponsored it, and it's really nicely sort of enameled here as well. I'm really a fan of these. I think they did a great job. And with these particular ones, which is something that they haven't done in the past, they decided to use the power of the Force, or in this case, the power of the flat style, and include coins. So they've got Ula, Jabba's dancer, and then it says here, Star Wars Celebration on the back. If we want to look also at these ones, we have Gargan and Slave Leia. I think these are really cool. These were given out, as I understand it, when you attended like panels in the collecting track. If you went to the panel, you'd get one of these and you could collect them all. And they had, I guess, a sort of cardboard display thing you could get if you got them all. I got these on eBay, of course, but definitely very cool. I only got, for this round, the 3 Jabba-related ones, but they have 20 altogether. Next up, we have something that's pretty similar to the Star Tots in that it's a nice metal coin, polished, or I guess you could call it a medallion. It's got enamel paint on the front and nicely raised lettering and design there. They made a whole line of these based on the vintage Kenner Jabba's Palace action figures, which, really is right up my alley, as you might guess. So I couldn't pass these up. They gave these away, I understand, for various things during Celebration, and each coin was sponsored by a different, I guess, collectors club. This one is the Kentucky Star Wars Collectors Club. And, as I say, they made quite a few of these. I have actually more or less the complete set. I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. Here we have a cardboard sort of holder for them that they made. You can sort of slot the coins into. It says, fill the barge. And that's what all of these say, of course. Fill the barge, and then they have on the bottom of the coin the name of the character. I really like these because, you know, they're not just the characters, but they're literally made after the design of the vintage action figures. So in some cases they look a little wonky or weird, but that's, you know, that's what the original figures looked like. Hopefully you can see this on camera. These were not easy to get, actually. A full set of. Kind of have to pay up if you want these on eBay, you know, after the fact, but they were given away at the show. I did have a little bit of a problem with this cardboard backing thing. When I got it, the coins, most of them anyway, wouldn't stay in there. I would push it in, and it looked like it was just maybe a fraction of a millimeter too small for the coin to actually stay in there, so it would sort of be one way or the other. And I had to go in with some pliers and just kind of like make the inside of the hole just slightly bigger so that they would fit in there. But it worked out. I'm hoping to get this framed, actually. I think it would look really cool. Now, I said this is almost complete set. What I mean by that is they also made a version. Well, they made a separate coin that had the Sarlacc on it, which I'll give you a picture of it here. And I think they also made a separate version of this cardboard thing that could fit the Sarlacc additional coin on there. They also made, instead of one that says fill the barge, they made a version with Lando that says infiltrate the barge, which I also do not have. But I do have these, and I'm pretty happy that I do. They also made a version of these in bottle cap form, which I thought was kind of interesting. These are actual metal bottle caps. You can see on the back there. But they've had the design kind of printed, I suppose, on the front. They're, well, bottle cap size, so obviously they're smaller than the coins were. And not nearly as nice looking, I'll have to say, but still pretty cute. Interesting little collectible. Bottle caps have kind of a connection to Star Wars because, of course, famously Pepsi back in the 70s had a line of collectible bottle caps with characters on them, although they were on the inside, as I recall. So, anyway, just an interesting little companion piece for the larger coins. One other piece of cool swag I got was this Jabba's Abbey Ale patch. Now, this is part of a series of patches that were made to kind of represent fictional ales or beers themed around Jabba's palace. Yes, that's actually a thing. Twin Suns Brewery, they're all, you know, supposedly from the Twin Suns Brewery, but they're all different kinds of ale. And they've also got they had a large patch featuring the sail barge on it. I mean, a lot of sail barge, you know, obviously with Hasbro releasing their sail barge, there's a lot of kind of references to the sail barge and stuff this year too. But I thought this was a cool thing. I was tempted to buy them all, but they're certainly not cheap to buy after the fact, and I'm not really a patch collector exactly, so I decided to go with the coins that you saw a little bit ago and only get the one patch that has Jabba on it. Still, they're very, very cool and very well executed, I think. Now, I don't know much about this patch except what I can glean from the actual design here, but it says Jabba's Palace Signing Project, and then it's got on the artwork, most of the characters here, like Salacious, Crumb, and so forth, have pens, and I'm assuming that what this is some kind of group autograph project that's, you know, centered around Jabba's Palace. I haven't had real good luck with group autograph projects around Jabba's Palace, and, you know, maybe I'll tell you about that someday, but in any case, I thought this was a cool thing to have, just the patch itself. It's got some unique artwork and so forth, even though I didn't have anything to do with this actual project, and I don't even really collect patches or autographs on a regular basis, but I just thought it was cool. This is definitely one of the more interesting items that I got this year, certainly one of the more interesting fan-made items. This was made for the archive party at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. And from what I understand, I don't know a lot of the details of this, but the Star Wars Collectors Archive apparently sponsors a party that they sell tickets to, and they give away various things, but they also give the proceeds to charity, it seems. And this year they were benefiting an animal shelter, so they themed this after a cat, and also, of course, the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. This particular one, I believe, was only given to the people who bought sort of the highest tier tickets. And so there's not that many of them available. Maybe certainly less than 50. I think they gave away like 20 or something like that of these. I don't know if anybody knows the exact number. I'd be interested to hear. But these are made of resin, I believe. It's very heavy feeling. You can see it's basically a handmade kind of thing. It was sculpted by Paul Harding Studios, who's I guess a toy sculptor. I think he did quite a good job on this. And, it really looks quite distinctive from afar. You can really sort of eye-catching. The paint job is a little on the rough side, I mean, quite frankly. But, if you have to paint like a few dozen of these, I can imagine it being quite difficult. It looks quite good if you're not just looking at it really closely, though. You can see also that they have this special box that it came in, Cheshire the Cat collectible, with all the credits there. The reason I really like this box is that it's themed after the original line art box for the vintage Jabba the Hutt playset, which I can show you right here. Some people call it the Sears version of the playset. Whether or not that's actually true is sort of open to debate, but in any case, they've definitely sort of captured that whole vintage aesthetic here with the box. So, I like the box almost as much as the figure itself, but definitely one of my favorites from this year. Well, that about does it for this look at Celebration Chicago exclusives. I'd be interested to know if I missed anything, so let me know in the comments, or just let me know what you thought of these in general. Thanks for watching!